Hey. Welcome to an episode of Unfiltered and Intentional. It's been a little minute. It hasn't been that long, but it's been a little minute.
It has.
Um, but I'm gonna do a little intro and everything. As you already know, like and subscribe. We're gonna get into the juicy topics and stuff a little later, but like and subscribe, do what you do. Liz, can you continue on from here? We're gonna make
All
it.
right, definitely. Hey, family, we missed you guys so much, right? And so we know we said we're not doing the weekly thing anymore, but we can pop in every now and then for a special. And we are so happy that you decided to let us back in. Don't forget to do what it do. As Kia said, you want to like, subscribe, and share. We do have two very, very beautiful, special, amazing young ladies giving us a couple minutes of their time. So without further ado, I did just want to touch base. We previously had Miss Zaya on the show, give or take about a year ago.
Yeah.
And she was telling us about some of the exciting things that she's doing. Last year you were, was it a sophomore in, in college?
So I was a junior.
A
Yeah, I was a
junior last year, senior this year. That makes sense. Okay. And then I also have Nazara down here. And so welcome to the show. It's your first time on the show, right?
yes.
But thank you for joining us. This young lady is the class of 2022, y'all. Hey.
Yes.
So, graduating high school senior. She's going to tell us a little bit about where she's going, what she's doing. But I kind of wanted to let's talk to Zara first. Zara, where are you graduating from? What are your plans after high school? Tell me a little bit about what makes you so special.
So I'm graduating from Ocoee High School. I went there all for I liked it there. It was nice. I had a good job. A good time. It was fun. I had a fun 4 years of high school.
A
And
fun 4 years of high school. Okay.
I'm going to University of Florida. So
Congrats.
So
That's
you're
awesome.
a gator in the making. Congratulations. That's kind of a big deal. And so I know that I got a chance to speak to your dad, and he mentioned there was also a little scholarship money in there. What does that sound like?
yeah, it's like at least seven 7,000 for now at least, but I don't know all of it yet.
Okay. All right. And what are you planning on going to school for?
I don't know yet. I'm undecided. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
you got plenty of time. It's all good.
Yeah, you got some years to figure it out. Miss Zaya, are you still going to school for the same thing that you started for? Did you switch it up?
Yes, so I'm still a public relations major.
Okay.
I'm hoping well, I currently do a lot of stuff with the healthcare field, but I'm
Hmm.
hoping to like venture out and go into like the music industry, doing PR there, and probably sports and entertainment. So I just want to dip my toes into a bunch of different fields as a PR when I get out of school.
Got it.
That's
Okay, awesome. And remind the audience what school is it that what university is it that you go to now, Messiah?
I go to SUNY Oswego. It's like 45 minutes to an hour out of Syracuse University. So yeah.
Okay, there you go. So we got New York, we got Florida. We are well represented. So, well, Messiah, I think that you had an announcement that you wanted to make. Is that right? So,
Yeah.
all right, let's go. Do it.
So um what is it? So over this past year, I've had a lot of challenges along with like academics, mental health, stuff like that. And another big thing is that, with school, especially going to college, comes grants, comes like loans, comes a lot of financial stresses, and oftentimes it can be hard to navigate through that and trying to figure that out. And I was blessed to get a scholarship, and I was blessed to receive a bunch of blessings that come with that, and it helped me a lot because for the most part, I didn't expect to spend another semester at Oswego, and I didn't expect to have a lot of classes that required a lot of books and required a lot of extra stuff. And with the
Mhm.
help of this one scholarship, I was able to, I guess, alleviate that stress.
Okay.
So, you know, out with the old comes with the new.
Hmm.
So you are the next person, Zara, for
Yeah.
this scholarship.
Oh, you. That's good.
Yes, congrats, congrats.
Congratulations. So, Ms. Zara, I don't know if you know about it, but I have my own t-shirt line and it's from Grown Honest Concepts. And every February, may every listen to me, it's my second year in a row, right? And so that I've done the Black Future Month initiative. So I designed this t-shirt here, and $5 from the sale of every shirt went towards putting together this little book fund that I have, because books are kind of one of those things where if you get a scholarship, they're helping you with tuition, right? And then your parents have the expense if you're going away to school with the room and board, and books kind of get lost on the wayside, but it's hard to go to school without books. So, it's not a whole lot, but we came up with about $250 this year from our Black Future Month initiative.
Yes.
And we definitely wanted to present you with it. So in my mind, I pictured Zaya as this black, beautiful queen, and like
Well,
the
you can't forget that even though the scholarship was 250 on your end, unfiltered and intentional always has to match. So we're
A.
going to match that as well
Oh,
to
thank
add to that fund. Yes. So many, 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 many blessings to you and your future endeavors with school. We wanted to tell you ahead of time, but unfortunately, it's supposed to be a surprise.
It was supposed to be a surprise. And to
So
be
yeah,
fair,
congrats on that.
what you don't know is that you were not even necessarily nominated. By chance, I was having a conversation with one of your parents, and they mentioned that you've gotten accepted to the school and that you're so quiet about it and so humble about it, and that you've got these scholarships and it's a secret. And I thought to myself, that can't be a secret. We got to put this on blast. And everybody could use a little love and support, and we have that for you in spades. So Zaya, we're going to continue to support you so I actually also wanted to pledge $100 towards your next term. So that is just from Grown Honest to you. All right, so hopefully
That's
that helps
awesome.
you. I know.
But I gotta match you, so 100 for you too.
Oh,
No more. This is it. No more matching. Just them two. That's it.
you guys, you know what? Kia surprises me when she does that too. I did not see that
Surprise
coming
myself,
at
but I love the
all.
young queens. I love the young. You
Oh,
know what it is? I
yeah,
didn't have nobody holding me down at all when I was younger. So hey, much
right,
much love. Yes,
right.
definitely.
So, but ladies, I'm not going to keep you any longer. We're going to
Yes,
chit chat after the show and figure out how to get those funds into your hands. But just know that you have the support of this entire community. You
yes,
have, I believe in women uplifting women. I believe in us looking out for us. I believe in unfiltered and intentional and everything that we're trying to do, and Grown Honest Concepts. So, community out there, continue to support us so we can continue to support them. We
yes.
love you. We're going to be checking in. So,
And
be
we don't want to
prepared.
uphold. Yeah, we don't want to uphold you because we got a lot to talk
Yeah,
about.
we have a lot to talk about, but we're
Yeah.
going to be in touch. Thank you for coming on.
thank
Bye,
you so
you too.
much.
Bye. Congrats.
You're so
Awesome.
beautiful.
Awesome.
Oh,
Yeah. Always good
so,
when you're able to do stuff for individuals, especially when they actually are going to use it and they're going to do right by. Like, it's good. Like, yes, yes.
yes, yes.
But
That's so,
it's funny. The last time I was on air with you guys, I had some tears, and Shawnette was on. I was crying. I was like, "Oh my god, I need a break. I'm taking a break," and it was very overwhelming. But it's like the movie quote in Godfather Part 3. If anybody's a movie head, it's like once you're
mm,
out, they pull me back in. These MFs have been cutting
every time.
have been cutting up. I was like, I'm gonna take a little break and then come back with the podcast, but no. But I did say that if some shit was popping off, I was gonna be there. I was gonna be talking about it,
We
and
did
that's
say
exactly
that.
what
Yes,
we're
you
gonna do.
did.
This is exactly what we're about to do. So we're gonna go in the flow because there's so many to catch up. I said it was a special edition because we were gonna do the thing earlier in reference to the scholarship, but we got a lot of topics to talk about. We're not gonna do anything about no special current events because all this shit is current. Literally, we got a baby formula shortage, Roe v. Wade, mass shootings, replacement theory. Can I talk about it? I will. So let's start off simple though. Let's start off
Yeah,
real.
though. How we start out with such good vibes and good energy, and this is
Yeah, but
the
we're
immediate
not
left
talking about
turn.
the monkeypox because that shit is popping off as we speak. But let's talk
Right,
talk
let's do
about
it.
let's talk about the baby formula shortage. Are we blaming Biden? What are we doing? Who are we blaming? Are we blaming the monopoly that's going on in the industry where only certain companies make these actual items? So if they are asked out, then the whole country's asked out. Who are we blaming about this baby formula shortage? Talk to me now.
I mean, so I don't even know how we get around to blaming Biden for
Okay.
everything. Like my toilet is clogged. Is it, Biden's fault? I'm confused. I don't understand. We
Okay, but
can't put
who are
all
we
this
blaming? We
shit
gotta blame
on his plate.
somebody. We gotta blame somebody.
So, and I'm only very loosely in tune with it
Oh,
because one of
here
those
we
things that's so infuriating that I can't even necessarily
There we go.
lock in the way I want to.
There
But
we
if
go.
I'm not mistaken, here are my concerns. It was something about the Food and Drug Administration that shut them down. They really haven't gone into the specifics of exactly what, other than a couple babies kind of sort of died. So
Yeah,
they shut down the
yeah, yeah.
production
There
of
was
this
some type of
formula,
contamination. Yeah, 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 yeah.
right? Pending an investigation. Well, if you have, like you said, a basically singular supplier
Mm-hmm.
and they screw things up, and so we would be mad if they didn't shut it down and let babies continue to die, and now we're mad because they did shut it down. With what backup plan?
So I heard a lot of people getting on the different websites and they were frustrated because they were saying, hey, this is a perfect time for you to start breastfeeding your baby. And I had something to say because not every situation is the same. So, yes, traditionally it's healthier. There's more enzymes, there's more this, there's more this. But there are some babies that need certain types of special formula that your breast milk cannot produce. There's this one woman, she keeps getting on every news station, just trying to talk to somebody, pleading with them because her actual formula cans are like double the price on what she would normally pay because it's a special type of brand, it's a special protein that her body, breast milk, does not make. And if her baby doesn't get it, they break out into these lesions. So people out there who think that the answer is just, hey, pop a titty in the baby's mouth and go about it, that is not just the answer because everybody's situation is different.
Can I play devil's advocate?
Yes, you can.
So I was speaking to my mother, right? And she said, here's the thing I don't understand. I never even heard of breast milk until I came to, I mean, formula till I came to this country.
Okay. What that
Like, that's a this country issue, and a lot of the issues that a lot of our babies have come from the nonsense that they put in our diets, the nonsense they put in our kids' diets, and now they can't process regular human food. We have a problem with regular human functions like producing milk and other things. So we can blame Similac today, but we should have bigger questions. Like, I mean, we've heard it said a million times, where did all these kids with all these bizarre out of this world allergies, kind of thing come from, right? This is not a problem that we had 50 years ago or 100, or that they're even dealing with in other parts of the world. In other parts of the world, you don't hear about the things that you hear about here, including formula. I mean, you have a baby and you breastfeed it. So I'm not mad at the people that are saying, well, why can't you breastfeed? I understand that we're saying there are women that cannot, but the next question should be, why can't they? Or why do these kids need these $40 cans of formula or they'll die? Like, how is that a thing?
so I've always been of the mindset that we should always plan in advance, right? Be proactive. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, when we're dealing on these type of worldly issues, or these, on these levels, sometimes you can't per se be proactive. And with that being said, you have a situation at hand right now. And the situation at hand right now are that there are babies that are suffering because they don't have that certain formula. Um, in this situation, I'm not per se blaming Biden. I'm blaming the fact that there's only 2 to 3 companies out there that make formula. Why is that? I have no idea why that there's only, like, in the whole United States of America, there's only these 2, 3 companies, and they can dictate the price. They can dictate, and that's actually what's going on with a lot of different things when it comes to this
Right.
inflation bullshit that's going on.
Right.
If there's only 3 people making it, I could do whatever because
Those are
all
your
y'all
only
are dependent
choices,
upon.
right?
Exactly. I mean, now, and then I know Humble Lion chimed in about blame all the president. I mean, honestly, politicians are the ones who kind of set those standards each year, each 4 years. When they shit, not even 4 years. Each year when they're getting elected, some of them been in office for like 30 plus years. They're older than us. They kind of monopolize that the system as well. We're gonna talk about elections too because some shit is going down. Y'all finna have a crazy, crazy election year coming up. Let's change this topic about baby formula shortage and go to
Yikes.
Roe v. Wade.
Time.
Oh,
Comments real quick.
okay,
before we turn the page, let's make sure we're
okay.
all caught up.
Let me just okay. So here we go.
So Specs chiming in with hello
Hey,
family. Hey
Spec.
fam, missing ya. So Humble Lion said, hey
Hey, Humble
y'all.
Lion.
And he said, oh, we got some fresh meat. I think that was
Talking about
referring
this,
to the young
yeah.
lady on the show. We got Z that said, good evening, ladies. Brash K. It's let's see, we got Humble Lion said, y'all look beautiful, got that black woman magic going on. Cash said, hey, welcome back. Thank you, Cash. Bash is saying many congratulations. We got flowers and hand claps going
Yeah.
on. So
Yeah. Oh,
congrats.
we got one. Blame
It's-
Slack.
Blame Similac. Absolutely.
Yeah, they need to be blamed.
They need to
Yeah,
be blamed.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
No, you're right. You're right. Here we got
Mhm.
something here.
So Cash said, I blame paid off politician that make laws requested by big business donors that want to tip the scales further in their favor. Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. And Humble Lion said, let's blame all the presidents up until Biden. See how stupid that is? It ain't no formula shortage in other countries. This country is a joke and people love making excuses for it. There's
I
no
can't.
formula shortage, but there's also no formula in other countries.
Yeah,
So
I don't know the statistics on about the formula in other countries, so that's why I can't really comment on that one. I don't know the data on that.
and Speck said that's the cost of capitalism. So, and Don Juan Ace said he's spending his
Yeah.
birthday with us. Happy birthday,
Happy
Don Juan A.
Happy birthday.
Ooh.
So here's the
That's
kicker.
our first birthday shout out, I think, on this show. And it's the first
Yeah.
time that you're commenting in the comment section. So
Yes.
welcome to the family. Happy
Yes.
birthday. And we'll check back in with you to see how empty that glass
Yes,
is.
because you might be turning it up so much. You may like, are you okay over there? But Roe v. Wade, it had to be like 2 weeks and I didn't do the show and all this protesting and all types of stuff is going on. I turn on the news and it's like, wait, what? Something got leaked? The Supreme Court did what? What are they reviewing? What? And I'm looking and I find out that very soon Roe v. Wade will be turned over. Question before you get into that, I seen a comment. I had a screenshot. If you see me looking at my phone, I have a lot of things I screenshotted. Somebody made a comment said, if you can sue a woman for ending an unwanted pregnancy, then should you be able to sue a man for causing an unwanted pregnancy?
How does a man cause an unwanted pregnancy? I mean, other than rape. Like,
Well,
we know things can happen.
well,
I mean,
I don't want to get into the scientific one becomes pregnant, but
I'm just saying if I
well,
eat
the
that,
reason why, well, here's the reason, the
so,
concept, the reason why that statement was put out is because there's a lot of individual states out there that are doing different things to punish a woman. So you have different states that are suing women if they terminate a pregnancy.
mhm.
So that is the reason why that statement was made. I know Oklahoma just passed the nation most severe abortion ban. Oklahoma's legislature passed the country's most restrictive abortion ban on Thursday, May the 19th. The bill prohibits all abortions and allows private citizens to sue providers that provide abortion services. The expectation to ban are to save the life of a pregnant person or if the pregnancy is due to rape or incest that has been reported by the police. So you had to have reported it by the police. The bill was passed with a vote of 73-16 and is now heading to the governor where he can sign it into law. So basically, what they did is time of conception, day one. You try to pop a plan B if you want to. Let somebody find out you over there popping them like candy. They
That's
will
like
take.
one of the dumbest laws I've ever heard of in my entire life. So what they're basically doing is they're going beyond abortion at this point and banning contraception because there's a lot of birth control pills, but they do not prevent the insemination of an egg. What it prevents is the lining to form in order for the egg to hold, right? So
Mhm.
as long as it's there's contact has been made, that is a pregnancy that your 28 days comes around and it washes away and technically you just had an abortion. So what are we actually banning? Are we just getting rid of all contraception, all birth control?
This
What am
is
I?
this is going to be something that is borderline. So I remember when I first talked to you specs back in the day, the very first time we were talking about civil unrest and how to prepare for that, because it was a lot of cops killing innocent black individuals and just a lot of things happening and a lot of civil things were happening, and I remember when we had that conversation many years back, right? And he was like, this is how you prepare. I think there'll be a lot of civil unrest if it is officially signed into law that they overturn Roe v. Wade. I know they did not sign that new voting law.
I don't know.
I think it is. I think it is. I mean,
I don't know if that's the make or break it issue for us.
well, maybe not in the black community, but I know white people who do support the bill, they're losing their minds. I mean, I know in the state of Florida, guys, Ron DeSantis signed into law that if you protest in front of any politician, Supreme Court justice, or anything, they made that a federal crime. So even if it's a peaceful protest, so they're turning up the bill. They're turning up the notch. They're turning up things just to make it uneasy for us. But I do think this is going to really, really shake some things.
I mean, he's also the same guy that made it a felony to block a road with a protest.
But
That
not when
is
it
more
came
than
to Cuba's protest. Remember, they blocked the law. They blocked the
that.
road.
Yeah, but there's an exception for everybody, right? So if you are, lighter than a paper bag, we'll make the exception for you. That's kind of how that goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But and by the way, speaking of DeSantis, I know we live in Florida, so maybe we're a little extra tuned in. For you guys that are not in Florida, write that name down, underline it, circle it, and be very afraid.
And he's coming
Right?
for y'all.
Let's be serious because he's got that Trump audience and he actually does in fact have a big brain, and that is scary because what you don't want is a more intelligent version of that last dumbass. That's what you don't want. And it's something to watch. So everything he's basically in his own way kind of shut down Disney because they disagreed with him. He's talked about having a like a voting police that reports to
Yes,
him and
he
only
has
him.
signed that into
That
law.
that that kind of went in real seamlessly. Nobody paid attention. This stuff is scary and it's real, right? He's making it a felony by every stretch of the imagination to protest in any way that you can think about. So basically, if your protest is inconvenient, it is now illegal and not just criminal. It's a felony.
Well,
And
and it also,
I can keep on going. So
I
he,
wanted to say it
yeah.
prevents the young people. It prevents the youth from kind of making those actions. A lot of them say, "Hey, let's go out to the streets, let's protest," and they're like, "Wait a second, did you hear? If they think that we're doing malice, we'll end up, catching a felony." So that's also to prevent and put that in their heads. Let's go to the comments real quick.
Mm-hmm. And so Don Juan, birthday boy, said, I had that debate as well. But honestly, if a man pokes a hole in a condom or does malicious stuff to get the girl pregnant, then yes, sue his ass. And you can. That's already a thing. You can actually do that.
But they make so many laws about women and their bodies. But then when it's like, hey, put a mask on or do this or do that, they're like, my body, my rights. And you're like, wait a second, how the fuck?
All of that. Yeah.
That don't
So
sound
Specs
right.
said they need white babies.
I heard there's a shortage of white babies going on out there. I don't
I
know the
can't wait till you see
statistics.
the shortage of white babies.
No, I mean, I love my white people.
I mean, it's going down, and the numbers have gone down. I will say that this entire, at least from what I'm seeing, this millennial and under generation, they're not in as much of a hurry to reproduce and repopulate. I know when we were in school, every teenager was pregnant. I,
but
I really don't hear about that as much, at least not down here. I don't know about other parts of the country.
probably because they too busy worrying about that damn rent that done double.
That part.
Can't pay
Right.
for a baby, you can't pay for the rent.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, well, we couldn't pay for it either, but it didn't necessarily stop us. But something is going on that they're
That is
concerned, and
true.
they're
Yeah, yeah.
very concerned, like very concerned. And so, Don Juan is asking, is there big money in birth control?
I
Yes.
didn't do the statistics in that, but yeah, I believe
Yes.
so. It's
There's very,
pharmaceuticals.
very, very big money in birth control. Definitely.
So
So, yeah.
change. I want to change gears real quick, if I may. I
Do
want to
it.
change gears, and I'm not going to talk about the mass shooting just yet. I want to talk about replacement theory, which led to the mass
Really? Is
shootings,
that
or
what you want to
led
talk
to
about?
some. Huh?
Is that what you want to talk about? Really?
Yeah, yeah. Because this is what was in the memoir of the killer, the terrorist. That's what I'm gonna call him by his name. He was a terrorist. For those of you who do not know what the Great Replacement Theory is, the Great Replacement Theory is a simple terms states that welcoming immigration policies, particularly those impacting non-white immigrants, are part of a plot designed to undermine or replace the political power and culture of white people living in Western countries.
Mhm.
Multiple iterations of the Great Replacement Theory have been and continue to be used by anti immigrant groups, white supremacists, and other prominent iterations include Rhetoric of Invasion. That's the theory often used martial and violent rhetoric of migrant invasion that must be stopped before it conquers white America.
Mhm.
Voter replacement. The theory also sometimes incorporates the inaccurate assumption that non white immigrants will vote a certain way, and therefore pro immigration policies are designed by elites to diminish the political influence of white Americans. And last but not least, anti Semitism. Um, and still other iterations, the theory can be found embedded in a web of other xenophobic conspiracies, including anti Semitic notions that Jewish elites are responsible for the replacement plot. Um, what I heard in that whole situation and that setup is white people scared.
They shook.
At least the elites are.
Hmm.
Going back to what Spec says, they need white babies.
But you went with the elites. I'm thinking that's all the way across the board. Like it is, they are scared. They are genuinely, genuinely shook. Not a lot of neighborhoods are segregated anymore. Uh, Interracial marriages, relationships, and children. The ones that are having children, they mixing it up. You know what I mean? And so it is a race that in this country was always known as the majority. And they aren't necessarily known as the majority, or at least it's well known that in the future they will no longer be a majority. And if you were used to being large and in charge, and you looked around one day and you were just
But that's the thing that I find
somebody,
interesting, and I wonder how everybody else out there feels, because white supremacy is an ideology, right? And it's embedded in everything that we do. So if you realize, like, wait a second, yes, there are so many mixtures of race, there are so many this and this, there's immigrants coming from here and here and here. As long as you keep that mindset, that is the reason why in Florida they love certain, Latino groups and these things, because they vote for them. So they keep that same thing going. So my question is, why would they be so afraid if they could just still keep those same rhetoric, staying trying to brainwash folks, because the Trump population is growing, growing, and growing strong. I hear a lot of people saying, you know what?
Growing? I don't know about growing.
Here's the thing. Oh yeah, and I should have kept
Okay.
the statistics up. The reason why I say that is because people don't care for Biden,
Okay.
and they don't care for Kamala neither, and they would not vote them back in. I'm talking about majority. I'm talking about the people that was undecided, because you have a lot of people say, you know what, Trump, his voice, the things he said was just over the top. But at the end of the day, I'm concerned about my bottom line and feeding my kids. And I remember talking to this one guy, said, you know, I normally vote Republican, not because I do believe in what they stand for. I know that when I vote for them, my money is right. I lose money if I bring a Democrat into the office. So when you have these confused people and they just kind of don't know, it seems like, you know, you have situations where, you know, DeSantis and his little Trump coonies would be like, come on, we could keep this going. I mean, we got some comments coming in.
Some pretty good ones actually. so
Okay.
so Humble Lion said they have always been the minority. They lied like they always do. You know what, Humble Lion? I'm gonna say something, right? Since I was like a real small kid and I was reading the books on slavery, like third grade, fourth grade, when they used to actually cover that in school, I always thought to myself, you got one slave owner, let's call it one slave family, so mom, dad, two kids, and they have two, three, 400 slaves. Weren't they outnumbered? Like, so how it is they became the majority, I don't know. I understand how they were the powerful, right? They had the guns, they
Well,
had the land, they had the government, but they really
what
weren't.
they did, especially during the, and that's why I always give props to the people that were raised and they were the revolutionists of the 60s. What they were able to do was tear groups apart. So you had poor whites, right? And then you had poor blacks, and they kind of came together saying, hey, they screwing you over too. Wait, they screwing us over. And they became one. But then you had the government and all them like, wait a second, they got more powers, because you remember you had the Black Panthers, you had the God Bodies, you had the righteous damn, it's on the tip of my tongue. The 5%, is it 5%? Yeah, the 5%. You had all these different, you know, the Latino brothers is in, the white people, everybody's coming together like, wait, what the hell is this? But at the end of the day, they're like, wait, if we could separate these individuals and feel like everybody's on a separate little island, then now that's how we gain our power.
Take
And
control,
what they were
right?
able to do was to pull poor white people back on their side. Because if you go to, you know, poor white West Virginia or Tennessee or whatever, they struggling just like a poor black neighborhood. But for some reason, they like, man, oh man, I will vote for
Yeah.
Trump any day. And you like, wait a second, they got you hoodwinked. So I
Mhm.
think that's what it is. But once again, it shows you that they have
Right.
the tools to brainwash.
Right. I mean, now up and down the coast, I don't personally think that they were ever the majority, literally ever. And I mean, the middle states, yeah. Like, I mean, I don't really run into a lot of black people from Wisconsin, Montana. you
We need
know.
to start flooding those areas. I Cash, if you're on, he was telling me, this one guy was talking about we
Mhm.
need to start flooding those areas.
Yes, we do.
We need to, and the reason why we need
Yes,
to,
we
we're gonna
do.
get to the comments, but this will also help our asses as well, because you got a lot of crazy white folks out there, because that's the number
Mhm.
one threat in America, is you got your homegrown terrorists. So we're gonna talk about that in a little bit too.
Mhm. And so Humble Lion said white folks are dying faster than being born. They know that, which ties into the replacement theory and the abortion ruckus. It's literally all tied together. And I'm not a
I
conspiracy
didn't even think about
theorist,
that.
but they go together, right?
I didn't think
If
about that.
if,
Wow.
if they're being replaced and they're not being replenished, where do they go?
Wait,
That's
I'm gonna sound
extinction.
stupid, and I know I got people that listen now, later, afternoon, and I'm gonna sound so silly. So I'm gonna do it a disclosure. I apologize for sounding crazy.
Mm-mm,
They're
do it.
not screwing enough. They're not they're not they're not doing the chitty chitty bang bang. What's going
Well,
on?
okay, it's not even necessarily about that, right? There's a reason. I mean, for there's many reasons, but the biggest reason, and we're going all the way back to the whole slavery thing.
Okay,
Um, Typically,
listening.
people of color tend to be
Okay,
stronger more resilient, more likely to
Oh.
survive. You put them in the winter, you put them in the summer, you put them in the jungle, you put them in the
Oh, we
desert.
talking about that.
And
Yes, we do
we
have a strong
live,
back.
right? I mean, you put us in the field, you put us in the house, you put us in the kitchen.
We
Like,
do
yo,
have strong backs.
we're gonna survive and we're gonna make something happen with it. So
Oh.
as long as, I mean, so it doesn't necessarily matter if we're fucking and reproducing, our baby's gonna be all right. If they are, you can't put them in the field, you can't put them in the
I
jungle, you can't put
also
them in
heard that's why they were trying to make.
the
I
like,
also heard now. I like I said, I don't have any beef with individuals who have interracial relationships, whatever. You love who you love, but at the end of the day, I had heard in reference to like that conspiracy that that's the reason why they were trying to kind of mix because they needed some of that melanin with them kids and stuff. Now I don't know because I'm just throwing out a conspiracy, but just saying. Just saying what I heard.
possible. And so Cash said that group just wants what they want. They that's why you see so much hypocrisy. Many conservatives want and welcome cheap immigrant labor. Oh, all day. But they want the cheap immigrant labor with no rights, Cash. That's the point. Right? And so Cash said Mar-a-Lago is staffed mostly with immigrant labor. Change that to illegal immigrant labor, by the way. But don't let them be able to vote. Or if you're going to let them vote, let them be conservative like the Cubans.
That's true.
That's
Yeah.
Humble Lion said Trump is white folks' savior and Biden is black folks' savior. I don't think black people see Biden as a savior.
Ain't my savior. Oh wait. I don't have.
It's not the same thing. If you look at the way Trump people behave, Trump people act like they go to church of Trump.
Well, I would say this for what Humble Lion just said. What is that guy's name? He just irks my nerves. The guy that's represents the Democratic Party, Clyburn, I think for the Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's his savior. Yes. They're like this, and unfortunately, when you know what, and that's what I say. Because even what's his name? Is his name? I'm so bad with names. Killer Mike. He gets on the TV and he's like, "Hey, when I remember when Sanders was trying to run, this is like way back when they said that if he got on the radio to promote Sanders, they wasn't going to play, like they're going to cut him off, like Killer Mike, whatever. They literally wanted him to only represent and talk about Hillary Clinton and whoever he was running against at that time. So he was like, wow, like you already have it kind of set up. Like you're not giving people any options just besides the two devils. And then when you have the two devils, you got to pick who's the lesser of the evil. Wait a second. Now, if I do Trump, his ass is crazy as hell. Well, if I do Joe and he's so sleepy, he might fall asleep. Well, I don't know what the hell's happening, So no, but Clyburn definitely but he has a stronghold on the Black Christian community. That's a whole nother topic. My God, brainwashed. Okay, let, let me go change another comment. Wait.
Yeah. So Cash said that's why Cubans have a separate immigration policy. Right.
I
Because
need
they
to
vote right.
That is
Right.
true. That is
Right.
true.
And so Lion said, watch they make melanated people the face of monkeypox. Did you guys know they tried that with COVID? Matter of fact, that devil DeSantis tried that with COVID. I just looked it up really quickly because I remember, and again, he does so many things that just kind of pass through, and I don't know what
Just
special
shaking my head.
but literally, here, can you guys see the phone? You can't
I
read that.
can't see it, but I can see the phone.
It
Read it
says
to me.
Florida governor blames coronavirus rise on overwhelmingly Hispanic workers. That really happened. I remember reading that day, that headline. That was June 19th of 2020. And he said that it's Florida farm workers to blame for COVID in Florida. And that went largely
So here's
unnoticed.
the kicker, guys, and I will talk about the whole monkeypox at the end, but I want to talk about this because when you have people that spread ignorant statements, I wish, and I'm blaming it on technology. Yes, I'm doing the blame game today. I had a video for you guys to watch, and the video was of a young lady purchasing something at a gas station. The process of the lady purchasing, the young Black lady purchasing something at the gas station, she is harassed by elderly well, I can't say elderly, let's just say if the young lady was in her 20s, this guy happens to be maybe late 60s, he looked like. He starts to call her all types of profanity, calling out of her name and just really on her aggressively. She tells him to back that up, you know what I'm saying? he puts his drink down next to her. He's like, hey, I got a gun in the car, saying these things. And she's like, okay, I can get my dad, whatever. And they're having these words. When she moves his drink away from her drink, he then proceeds to lay hands on her. And he hits her about maybe 6 or 7 times in the face, like boom, 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 starts to mollywop. And of course, nobody does nothing, which pisses me off. They had some brothers in the background or whatever. And of course, whoever the attendant was, nobody stopped the guy. But at the end of the day, we're going to see more and more hate crimes. What happened in Buffalo, New York was a hate crime. A hate crime. Of course, Fox News wanted to go ahead and paint it as if it was like a terror, not a terror, excuse me, mental health. Hey, this is what's going on, guys, blah blah blah.
Poor
But
guy, right?
yeah, but unfortunately, he was scouting out the place days in advance, talking to the different people in the community as a regular Joe, somebody you would see just kind of walking, taking a breeze. There was a guy on the news saying that, hey, I bought him a soda. Like he would sit on the bench and we just be chatting it up. And you have these individuals who are willing to, they know that they're not going to die. What is the guy who just got off? He was a young guy. He drove all the way to another fucking state to protest, but he was not to protest, to stop the
The
protesters.
Kenosha kid.
Yeah. He had the
That one.
gun.
Yeah,
But
that
but,
one.
but
The
you
Kenosha
have a
kid.
lot of people. He has a job now working at Fox News Station, making buku, making more than us. Um, you'll have these scenarios where people are inspired by
Yep.
hate. They're fueled by statements about, hey, it's those immigrant workers bringing over this and this. And I know Humble Lion mentioned about the face, melanated people being the face of monkeypox. People are beating people up. People are doing dangerous things because they're like, hey, we got to, and they know they're not going to get in any trouble. How are you guys out there prepared for more and more hate crimes, um more and more situations where you hear about it? I think
First of
that
all, I don't know about hate crime, and I get that maybe once upon a time they used to pack a punch, but so do crimes of passion, right? Like to me, a hate crime is a little bit more of like a one-on-one thing, or even maybe a little bit of a heat of the moment thing. But this is
well, let's
terrorism.
okay, well,
This is
terrorism.
terrorism, right? And I
Yeah.
mean, don't get me wrong, a hate crime is a bad thing. But when you say terrorism, generally speaking, what that's supposed to do is inspire some sense of unity. Like we should be united that we do not like terrorists, right? But when you call it a hate crime, what that really affects is the population that was targeted, that, and it brings together that
Well,
population.
well,
So
I think we're both right. Meaning, like that young lady that was just getting her soda drink. I wouldn't say that old man was a terrorist because he
no,
didn't
that was
infect
more of a hate
everybody. He
crime.
literally,
Right,
but
right.
with that being said, we're hearing more and more one-off stories of where you'll have an individual just get attacked just because of the color of their skin. Now, of course, this situation here, this is a terroristic situation.
Yeah,
This
no,
is
he
a
went and
homegrown
scouted. He did recon work. He tried to get other people involved. He had people, he was feeding them info and what was going to happen, when it was going to happen. He tried to inspire people to get involved. He had a cult leader in the Fox News personalities over there that he referenced, and like that's terrorism. How is that any different than the people flying the planes? They went to school. They did their recon work. They learned how to fly, but not how to
Well,
land.
what you're forgetting, Liz, is just like the opioid epidemic, because we had the crack epidemic, right? Just like gun violence, just like this and this and this, until it's affecting them, they're not going to put that money in the
Which is
community
why I
and the
wouldn't want to call it a
resources.
hate crime. You get what I'm
Okay,
saying? When
I
you
won't
know
call it a hate.
when
I won't call.
it just you get a different response from that, right?
Well,
Because
sure,
when it's
sure.
a hate crime, the only people that get united are people that were targeted by that crime. So if it's a hate crime against Chinese people, all Chinese people are going to come together because we can't stand for this. If it's a hate crime against Black people, same thing. If it's an act of terrorism by an entity or group of people against Americans, then as Americans, we should respond to it.
Well, but okay. So the way you phrase it, I see both, because at the end of the day, I don't see. And I remember you guys always see. Sometimes Charles comes on the show. I remember an episode where Charles says if you wake up in the morning already thinking that you have a target on your back, you would move differently. Like if you knew today, waking up, that somebody may kind of come in your zone or mess with you or whatever, the way you move in a normal situation would be different because you already have your guard up. A
Right.
lot of times unfortunately, as a people, we kind of like la 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 la, like, oh, Chochella's here, yay, and we're just dancing and having big fun, not really seeing what the fuck is going on. And then you got people running up on you, slapping you or whatever. Now, granted, this terrorist attack that took place, it wasn't a thing of those people on that day. They could have prepared for that, but at the same time, you still will hear those one-off situations where you possibly could have made a move. And I'm just curious, is anybody out there is feeling a little bit more insecure, on edge, like, wait a second, these crimes?
I
Okay.
am. I am. And you know what? Here it's funny because I literally do move differently. I think I did mention it on this show once. Um, Secret. I have anxiety issues. I'm just letting y'all know. And by the way, it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I'm putting it out there because why not? If you're out there and you're dealing with it, you're not the only one. But it used to be, small things like the nail biting or, that kind of thing. It's gotten to the point now where because a mass shooting could happen anytime, anywhere, if I leave my desk to go to the bathroom and I happen to get up without my phone, do you understand? I could be wetting myself. I will turn back for my phone. And not because whatever is going on the gram is so important that I need to be on my phone. But what if while I'm in the bathroom, something pops off and I can't call 911 or let somebody know where I am or anything, right? So like you said, if you wake up every morning just kind of knowing that today could be your last day, that's a weird way to live your life. But it's also something that's going to help you keep your head on a swivel, even when you are in the grocery store or Walmart or going to the bathroom at your job or whatever, you know what I mean? Because unfortunately, it's the year 2022 and there is no safe space. Church, elementary schools, movie theaters,
Yep.
grocery stores. We don't have a safe place. You don't have a single place today that you should feel relaxed and comfortable. I mean, and
Schools.
again, it's a shitty way to live. Make no mistake about it. I'm not proud of it. It's not a badge of honor. It's something that I wish I knew how to fix it. I don't know what's going on, but these constant, even a lot of things that we're talking about today, every single thing, if you pay attention to it, is meant to divide us in every way possible. It's meant to divide us, pit us, race against race, man against woman against woman, because abortion rights is a woman against woman issue. It is, right? I mean, and so as divided and as siloed as they can have us, they have us. And what it creates is this eggshell society where we should just all be walking around on a tinderbox because if I look at you wrong, you might shoot me. If I'm not paying enough attention in the grocery store, I might get shot. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. We're in a really, really, really strange place, but I don't have a solution for it. Like
Yep.
that's the crazy part. You talked about waking up every day with like a target on your back and teaching your kids if you get pulled over by the police what to do. If your crazy, erratic, racist neighbor is talking to you crazy, what do? You know what I mean? If it could be a lot of things, and we keep planning and planning and planning, but it seems almost like we can't plan enough. And I'm not trying to make it sound hopeless, but like WTF,
Let's go to the comments. No,
you
no,
know.
no.
So Cash said the frustration is the right has people advocating for their policies, full stop, whether they are popular or not. Right. And so Z said, I know the next like 3, 4 comments is about that kid and his name. I don't want to say his name
It's
at
kind
all.
of
So
rotten house. That's so funny.
moving on. So
That's
nope, not even
funny.
gonna say it. I won't say it. So Humble Lion said, nobody believes how sinister these agencies are. People are never going to believe you when you tell them that these mass shootings are special government operations. Only certain people can catch it.
It's interesting that you said that. At the end of the day, once again, I've always been this way. You want to be able to prepare, right? Be proactive. But in situations like this, if we so let's just say everybody knew, in the community that, oh yeah, it's an inside job. At the end of the day, how do you prepare for that, right? Because it's not as if you're moving out of the area where these things are not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? How do you prepare for an inside job? you
Right.
know um it just goes down like that.
And it's funny because inside or not, going back to what Humble Lion just said, you're making it sound as if these are inside jobs in order to enact gun control. the lack of gun control was from the government. So the government coming up with these situations in order to enact gun control is kind of silly because they hold the cards to begin with. I'm looking at it as the opposite. Maybe these, higher level powered people, if we're going to go with the conspiracy theories, are meant to silo us and to put us into these little pigeonholes, right? So, we can look at it as it works both ways, right? It works if they're trying to divide us. It works if they're trying to control us. It works whichever way it is. But I don't know that they need to kill people by the dozen in order to enact gun control. If they wanted to do it, they would do it. They enact anti-protest policies all the time.
So the next comment, I'm going to go ahead and read this one. It says government sacrificing people are people for an agenda for gun control. Yes, they are that sick. The same people didn't know 9/11 was an inside job and they never going to get this. Now, here's the kicker. Once again, I say it all the time. It's so funny because anytime I have a conversation with my mom's like, oh, and what about this? And what about this? And she be going in. I'd be like, Mom, at the end of the day, it still happened. At the end of the day, you have people say, 9/11 was an inside job, right? This is the reason why 9/11 took place. This is the reason why this took place. This is the reason why the bombing took place. Everything you say could possibly be true. But guess what? 1,000 plus people died. Guess what? Those people in the grocery store are still dead. So I know we're not disputing that. We are all in agreement that people did actually die. How do you live in a continued society where something like that is intentional? Because at the end of the day, we could put blame on whoever. The terrorist that flew over from overseas, the homegrown white terrorist in your back, your neighbor who's sitting up there plotting on you, looking around. I mean, for myself, I always say we got to get we got to get these stores, we got to get these shopping areas integrated. Because guess what? If we all sitting in one little neighborhood unit, and I say this
It's a
for
little harder to
look,
target.
and I said this
Yes,
is a special
yes.
episode because at the end of the day, I don't know why you guys was sleeping, and whatever the audience was doing out there. Let me tell you what was really going on. So, over 400 declassified UFO sightings have been identified. They were actually all at the Senate, and they was having special meetings at the Pentagon and all types of things because it's official, real deal. So when the shit go down, like I always be saying, we're gonna do the hint hint conspiracy. When it go down, you populate in that one area that has no resources, you have one way in, one way out. Guess who's getting got first?
Right.
So if we're able to kind of go elsewhere, and like I said, we need to move to Montana and all them other places,
Wyoming, Ohio, Idaho. Yep.
in them areas, guess we're gonna be all mixed in. So guess what? When they shooting up the place, they're gonna you got to get past me and all these other people because you're not getting me.
And you know what, Kia? While we talking about that, looking at the middle states, and I mean, none of us is in a hurry to pack up and move, but you notice how where they live in those middle states, the air is cleaner. The houses are cheaper. It's affordable to live where they live. It's not affordable to live where we live. It's funny because when they're good and ready to, they go into our neighborhoods and re-gentrify them and jack them up so that we can't live there anymore. It's not affordable to live out here where we insist on living and no place else. If you actually head in a little bit, the food is different.
Oh yeah.
If you got cattle in your backyard, trust me, that steak is not from the freezer. You know what I mean? The food is better. The air is healthier. The homes are cheaper. And we just refuse to even consider it as a whole.
You think about I don't know if this is the right term, the Great Migration, when Black people started moving from the South up to the North, and they started integrating, all the different houses. A lot of white people were mad. Well, wait a second, this is a predominantly white neighborhood. Well, shoot, it's all white neighborhood, and who's this family over here? And we need to do this more, and more, because at the end of the day, when policies are being made, we already know who these policies are going to benefit from. So, but guess what? It's all about your zip code. Move into certain zip codes and you see how your life is different. Like, wait a second.
How it changes like that.
Wait.
Yes.
Y'all got new computers going to this neighborhood?
Mm-hmm.
I tell you what. And like you said, the rent is cheaper.
The rent's cheaper. The mortgage is cheaper. Look up a house twice the size of your apartment right now in Idaho or Alabama.
You know, it's funny because they had some schools in Texas, and basically there was some assignments like comparing. I forgot they was comparing something to Obama. It was some ignorant ass stuff that they was doing, but basically making some type of racial remarks or whatever. And then they had another school where the girl was getting so bullied so bad by the students, the teachers weren't doing anything. Um, you know, and it was just really because it's a very small black community that lives in this white populated area. I bet you if the tables would turn, that them people wouldn't they'd be watching where their mouth was. I really, really do think that we need to move into other neighborhoods. Let's bring the
I think
party
we should
over.
at least consider it. And so at least consider it. And so Humble Line said the FBI invented the term conspiracy theory and it's working. People stop critically thinking and let the media do it for them.
I want to say that when it comes to critically thinking and letting the media help them do it, I can't lie about that. I can't. I think that a lot of times we're just in our own bubble, and unless it's affecting us, I really don't care, and that's a very unfortunate thing. I had to do this show because I was like, I have to talk about it. I have to have this conversation. I have to have people having conversations about this. This is not something that we're just going to sit on our hands and enjoy our summer. And it's going to be a hot girl, hot boy summer. No, 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 no. We heard Megan and Nikki already. It's too late. I have to talk about this shit.
Seriously. Seriously. So, okay, Humble Line calling me out by name. Let's do this. So, the Liz, history tells us that when a country gives up their guns, the government can do more than take over. And it's a wrap. Look at countries' government of the citizens that gave up their guns. Right. Except that, hang on, where did the guns come from? The government. I don't know anybody that can manufacture guns in their houses. They are they're designed, mass produced, and distributed by the government. And by the way, our government is overseas giving guns to other countries and other people too. So it does not make sense to me that they put the guns on the street. They flooded the neighborhoods, particularly black neighborhoods and gangs and everything else. That is all government funded, owned and operated. It is, right? They go into these other countries and they fund these other in these civil wars and everything else with the guns, and then now we have to believe because y'all say so that it's a government conspiracy to take the guns away. They gave us the guns and they make the bullets. If they wanted to take the guns away, they'd stop producing the
I
bullets. It
don't
will
know who
run
needs to
dry.
hear this. I don't know who needs to hear this, but it just got them like, please invest in a weapon of some sort. I mean, I am a gun
So
owner. I really do feel that you need to be packing, learn how to shoot. And I know we've had this conversation on gun
we
control and
have.
stuff, but listen, I mean, at the end of the day, you have the government, right? Talking about forget about white terrorism. We got this actual aliens that's fitting to come through, and they but here's the thing, nobody wants to talk about that shit.
Aliens are afraid of our guns, Kia.
Hey, you need something. You need something. They're not getting me. I'm sorry. I'm
With
sorry.
your guns, Kia,
Hey,
like really?
hey, I'm gonna go out blazing. I'll tell you what, you not getting me, y'all.
What's in this? Like, yeah, like it's not strong enough. Let me tell you, like it's
You
like
not getting
added
me,
something.
y'all. Would love to visit Montana. Just afraid of hunting season, as I might be mistaken for a black bear. Oh my
Oh
god, that is
no, we
so
don't want you
funny.
mistaken for a black bear, but to
That
be
is
fair,
so
the
funny.
chicken
Wow,
is only for a duck, so you know.
that is hilarious. That is
I can
hilarious.
understand.
Wow.
So Lion said, Liz, I'm sure you know the eugenics program was established to exterminate black folks. There's a lot of programs that are determined that are established to these, extinguish. Look at oh my gosh, help me out. Like the STD studies that they did always do in our communities. Look at the
Oh,
fact
the
that they
syphilis. It was
specifically
the syphilis.
syphilis.
That's
Thank
what it
you.
was. Yeah.
You've got if you look at the way that vaccines were doled out in so-called third world countries before they could come here for their counterparts and everything else, that's not exactly shocking. It's not right. But what happens is they create these things because they can control them. What you're not seeing is we're talking about conspiracy theories like that's the problem. Conspiracy theories are not the problem. Everybody's always, like Kia just said, we're always going to have a conspiracy on something, right? I can call anything and say that there's this reason for it. And if I believe it wholeheartedly enough and get other people to believe it too, it is now a new conspiracy. It's with the rise of psychology and sociology also came the rise of brainwashing and mind control. That's not conspiracy, that's common sense. If I could figure out how to hypnotize people and get them to do what I wanted, that's what I would do. You know what I mean? So I don't think that that's a conspiracy. I think that that's man acting according to his nature. And the more we learned about psychology and how to influence people and how to get people to think a certain way and everything else, that is brainwashing, manipulation, coercion. That's what that is. But that's not a conspiracy. That's just logical.
Well, I mean, we can go down the rabbit hole, on any topic. I know Cash says a lot with conspiracy. There's some truth behind it, right? You always hear that heard. Well, I heard that this might have happened, and there was this one thing that took place, and and there's things that come out and it's recorded, and we have record of it. Like, hey, this wasn't a conspiracy. This literally took place. I just say, since we're not moving, right? None of us here are moving out of the United States to go to another country where you can't bear arms. None of us are moving underground. None of us are getting rid of their social security. Because even if you say, you know what, I'm not a part of this system at all, you still got a social security number. You are a part of the system. Somehow, some way, with that social security number, you are already branded. Maybe the conspiracy is that's the mark of the beast, the social security number. Who knows? It's still happening, and that's my point. How do we strike back? How do we prepare? How do we talk to our children? How do we make sure that these issues are on the forefront of our brains? Because we cannot go into a supermarket just la 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 with our flip-flops on, thinking that everything is a-okay. Because they will come in and they will do things. I mean, it's proven record. Like I said, we could go back and forth all day, but it's proven record that they out here to harm, by any means necessary. And if that means even harming their own people, by any means necessary, there is a will, there's going to be a way, because they want to stay on top. And if they got the money and the power, they're going to do anything that they possibly can.
Mm-hmm. So Humble Lion said they will never be able to take over this country because people are heavily armed. When your government, because radical they've got extreme overreach. Don't wait till it happens because then it's too late. And he says, well, I need new conspiracy theories because all the old ones are coming true.
Hey, and like I said, with every conspiracy, there's some truth behind it. Yeah, most definitely. Like I said, it's very, and we become very desensitized, guys, when you hear about this breaking news. Every second's a breaking news story, right? And normally it used to be breaking news. Everybody's running to the table, there's TV, and oh, did you hear? Did you hear? Everybody's talking about it. But now it's like, oh, it's breaking news. You look real quick, and then you get your two-step on a brunch. Like, oh yeah, pass me the mimosa, and no one's thinking about what's really happening. And we need to. We really, really, honestly need to, because after one event is going to be another event. It's going to be this and this and this. And we have to be able, if we're trying to survive, if we are trying to survive for our children and teach our children and educate them so they can move on the legacy and the torch, or whatever the proverb is, we got to be able to open people's eyes and see what's going on. Because like you said, I can honestly agree with you, Humble Lion, that these new conspiracy, the conspiracy theories that we've been heard are coming true. We're like, wait a second, that wasn't a conspiracy. We just got to do better. I know he said, chimed in right now and says,
desensitized is right, because we will be talking about another event. Right. And also with what you were just saying, Kia, in terms of the whole breaking news, thing, that also desensitizes us, right? Because breaking news, this country was just invaded by this country. Okay. Breaking news, there's a whole new disease, illness killing folks. Okay. Breaking news, Will Smith slapped somebody. How is it all on the same level? How is it? Think about it, right? We treat everything like it's equal. They don't deserve the same banner.
I look at it like this. You got to find the silver lining. In true manner, nobody really cares per se what these mega rich people are doing with each other. But I can say this, it brings light on toxic women. it brings light on having a conversation about demasculated men. You know, it's a conversation people don't want to have. I mean, yes,
But it's
it's
not
not on
breaking
no,
news.
no, it's not on the same level, right? It's not on the same level as suicide or genocide in another country. But I am happy that we do have that conversation. I remember reading a lot of posts like, "Oh my God, when we're gonna stop talking about Will Smith and Jada and this and whatever, whatever." Um, we need to have that conversation because there's a lot of toxic women out there that people do not want to talk about. I mean, yeah, you know, you see that bad bitch as they call them. Yeah, she's bad or whatever. Yeah, she's bad. She's fucking crazy in her head. Now, granted, I don't want to use the taboo statement because this is mental health month, mental health awareness month, and you don't want to shame somebody for having issues. I suffer from depression myself. You know, that's a mental thing. I have anxiety or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, there's some women just need to be by themselves and just kind of just come on, read a book, write a journal, you know. And I'm
Right.
glad the conversation is.
Seriously.
Speaking of that, you know, Kevin Samuels just passed away. You know, and he was the one of those internet guys that people talked to. Well, he used to have that the love topics and relationship guru or whatever have you. And I don't wish death on anybody. You know, they said that he passed away by he was having sex, I guess, and had a heart attack or whatever. And the woman that he was with was a nurse and was trying to bring him back or whatever have you. But you know, he brought a lot of issues to surface, you know, about women who had self-esteem issues and this, that, and the third. I mean, these topics affect us. You know, a lot of us have a lot of issues and a lot of the baggage, and we bring these things into a relationship. And then here you have two toxic people together trying look, you got two toxic people together trying to raise that young child to protect themselves with the crazy bullshit that's going on in the
Right.
government.
And only toxic fruit can fall from a toxic tree. That's what it is, right? I mean, so the things that you're talking about though, Kia, that used to be kitchen table talk. That used to be, church hallway talk. That used to be water cooler talk. It is not breaking news. And it's really important that we get back to kitchen table talk because those are the conversations that we need to have. We do need to talk to each other about lifting each other up. We do have to talk to each other about what's not acceptable. We do have to, and when I say talk to each other, I don't mean post at each other. Like, I don't know what that's about. I mean, looking like sitting around the table talking to each other. That is, honest to God, the only thing that's going to help kind of break down some of this. What we're doing right now is just not natural. It's funny because Kendrick Lamar put out an album last week, and he has a line in the song Rich Spirit where he talks about he'll never live his life on a computer, right? And that's critical. Like that's what's causing literally the breakdown in society right now, right? So the next post on there, Humble Lion said, Facebook is a trip. They don't have a profile saying pray for Buffalo, but one for Ukraine. We're back to kind of that mind control and them telling you what's important. He said, Cash said, this is my water cooler. And it is because this is different. We are engaged in a conversation. We're not in the same room because distance doesn't permit it. And you guys are definitely chiming in, but this is a conversation. What we have going on in these chats and on these blogs and on these posts and everything else is people yelling at each other behind screens with no name, with no face, with these radical opinions, and nobody saying, hey, can you calm down? You know what I mean? If the two of us were in a room and for some reason somebody walked past and upset you, Kia, right? And you decided, like, I know she did it, as a friend, I'm gonna, like, tap you on the elbow and say, yo, calm down, let me buy you another drink. You know what I mean? Or whatever, because we can do that to each other. Even on this show, how many times have we sent up a tea?
Oh,
you
the
know,
time out. I love that tea.
and
Time
everything
out.
else. That's a part of being a part of a community. That's a part of having real friends, right? Not friends that click the button that said that they're your friend, but having an actual friend that cares, that you don't go out there and get yourself killed spouting out at the mouth because no one told you to take a second to think about what you were going to say next, right? So you're typing 100 miles a minute with no regard for who it's affecting, how it's affecting them, how much more siloed you've become, and how much more you've gone down that rabbit hole. And how is this good for anything or anybody at all?
It's funny because when I know you mentioned this mental health awareness and everything, this society, this generation, they speak through the phones, right? They speak through posting. You know, they feel very uncomfortable. They don't have that phone in front of them to say and articulate what's going on. It's
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate. When the shooting took place in Buffalo, that shooting was done live and first person. Um, Unfortunately, I seen the video. Someone sent me the video, and I didn't know until I'm looking like, wait, this is the video. Someone sent me the video, and I didn't know that that was the video. And I'm looking at it initially as if it was like a video game. I'm like, wait, what is this? And for that video to be passed around as if it was just water cooler talk,
Hmm.
that's how easy it was. Like, oh, just you know how you see a fight. Did you see the fight last night, girl? Let's see real quick.
Right.
Just as instant, with
Mm-hmm.
no disregard. And once it's out there in internet land, it's out there. But just in a, I'm thinking about it, like how many people have watched this while they got there's off two correction officers are on paid administrative leave because they were laughing at the video.
Girl, what
So
kind of
during the water cooler talk, they're looking at
right?
the video and
Mm-hmm.
now these are correction officers.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody's uncle, somebody's this, their auntie, whoever is in locked up, and these correction officers are governing you guys, you know? And I need to be concerned. I was on the debate with people like, oh, they shouldn't be on correction duty. They don't have a right to watch the video. The fuck? When has it
But they're
become
on paid
legal?
leave too. Start there.
I didn't hear you. What you say?
They're on paid leave.
Yeah.
Paid.
And this
Just
is
like
New
the
York
video was
correction.
taken in very calmly.
Yeah, but no, just and that was their water cooler talk, laughing at these individuals who lost their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And in the video, you literally see, a person's, raising their hand for help, and he shoots, boom, right in the head. This one, boom, no remorse, just bop, 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 And he had tactical gear on because there was a retired police officer that was there who, remember, carry a gun so you could protect yourself. He shot at this terrorist, and the bullet didn't do anything because he had the armor pierce protection, the vest on. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. And he engaged in with him and shot him. Unfortunately, so many of the elderly in that community were shopping there, and then they died because of this guy who scouted out this neighborhood. Um, you'll see more and more. I really, really do believe you'll see more and more. I know we're so used to talking about the police shootings and how this one did this and this one did that, but unfortunately, I really do think that we're going to see more and more. Um, the guy in the guy who killed 9 in the church in Charleston,
Mm-hmm.
they did not call him a terrorist.
Nope.
Uh, the guy who can kill 28 in Sutherland, they did not call him a terrorist.
I'm terrorist.
The one who just killed 10 in Santa Fe, not a terrorist. 17 in Parkland, not a terrorist. 59 people in Las Vegas, not a terrorist.
Mm-mm.
There was one guy who walks into a mall with a fake bomb, and he was charged with terrorism. Who do you think he was? He was a black man. So
Mm.
all these people prior that I just mentioned who killed this one and killed this one, they were not charged as a terror. It was not charged as a terroristic act. The
Mm-hmm.
black man with the fake bomb who goes into a mall was charged as a terrorist. So this is why, even though we talk about elections and voting and this and this and this, we gotta do better when it talks about who we are electing as our governing bodies of our judicial system. Because forget about the presidency. You're over Trump, you're over Biden. Oh my God. Let's think lower level because these people are the
Mm-hmm.
ones who are saying, you know what, we're going to charge that black man with terrorism and these white people with mental health or murder or manslaughter or whatever chumped up charge. Who gets to say that? Our DA officials? Who gets to give the time and in reference to the sentencing? Our judges? We got to do better, people. We got to do better. Um, as you guys know, this is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I want to give out some numbers. Let me see. Give me 1 second. I do know I'm going to give out these numbers. I already have it saved, so it doesn't doesn't mind.
Not too hard to run into. Yeah.
Online.rain.org. And this has to do with sexual assault. Um, please go ahead, because even if you call this number here and you're having any issues, they can always transfer you. Another number that is also good, if you're not aware, is just 211. And 211 is a
Yes. Good one.
actual hotline where
Mhm.
an operator will come on and they'll say, hey, what services are you needing? And then they will kind of guide you to what you're looking at, for if it's suicidal prevention or domestic violence or whatever have you. So that is something that you definitely want to jot
Food.
down.
They'll help you find food. I know
Yeah,
that prices are up. A lot of people are suffering in many, many different ways. They will help you. Have a lot of resources, guys. Tap into it. It's there. It won't cost you anything. It's nothing but a call.
exactly. But we're going to go into last words of Liz.
So again, we cannot thank you guys enough. You are riding out with us. And here I'm gonna put it out there.
I don't know
So
what you're about to say.
you
What you about to say?
don't know what I'm about to say, right? But we are unfiltered and intentional. We try to be as open, honest, candid, and everything as we can with you. When we last had our show, we were kind of under the impression that it was going to be a while before you saw us again. He and I are human. We have a lot going on. you know, um, some good, some not so good, but we're humans. We're trying to make it right. Even on this show, we both talked a little bit about some of our mental health struggles. You know what I mean? Not because we're abnormal, but because we are human. So we have a lot going on, and we so appreciate you guys coming on this ride with us. We literally don't know when the next show is going to be. We are not doing a weekly thing, but we cannot just let it go. It's too important. We believe in what we do. So every now and then we're going to pop up with the random specials, and we so love and appreciate you guys for taking this ride with us, being supportive to us, and till we meet again.
Yes, guys. And just to kind of just top that off, like she said, it's not going to be a weekly show, but definitely, the shit's going to pop off. Like we talked
It's
about,
happening.
every day, every second, something's about to happen. Watch out for those monkeypox. Whoever has it, don't touch me. I don't know how you get it. I'm just saying that. But at the end of the day, life is happening, and it's happening, and I cannot sit around and just not talk about it. And I would talk about it normally, like I said when I started the show, talk about it with just my friends, like, hey, what's going on, blah blah blah
It's
blah.
what we were talking about.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm like, well, what do other people have to say? If I had it my way, I would have a whole studio audience and be a true, a true host, having it, chatting it up. Because, I know there's many, many podcasts out there that talk about all different types of things. But at the end of the day, oh, I gotta answer this question. He threw me off. Let me see what Humble Lion saying.
He said, "Isn't insanity doing the same thing and expecting different results? Then why y'all still voting?"
Well, I can say this. We're not gonna go into a voting conversation, but I'll say this right now. I know that we had an episode. I wish I knew the title. I do not know
Okay,
the
I
title,
might
but
be able to remember it. You
it
keep going.
actually
Keep talking.
aired. No, no, no. The actual person was the what was she to the representative? What was she? Was she the secretary or
She is her.
public relations
She was her
person?
campaign manager, and now
Yeah,
she's.
so we had an episode where there was somebody who was voting. Well, this in this district of Florida, this old white guy kept winning like for like 35 years straight.
Chief of staff. She's the chief of staff. That's it.
Thank
Yeah.
you. But this old white guy was winning all the time. And I guess he didn't really put too much thought into it because he just always wins. And she actually went on people's doors. She founded her own campaign and everything. Knock, knock, knock. She beat this ass by 5 votes. The story actually was on Rachel Maddow. I was like, oh shit, that story's on. That's
Yep.
how big it was,
Yep.
because he was so mad that this sister won that he refused to give up
She
his
did
seat
not concede.
until the very, very last minute. Because of course, let's just say how normally would be, you graciously bow out, you give the person over the change of passwords and all the other, and here's the petty cash, goes on to the next person. He waited to the last day. But Sister Girl is in office thanks to her 5 little votes that she got. and she is doing the little bit of work that she can. What I mean by a little bit of work is we know that she's not taking it up to presidency, but anything helps. So, humble lion, I don't know if you have a huge family or not, but at the end of the day, if you lived in her district and you was going through bullshit ass stuff with the school systems and they weren't working for you and your kids can't do right and the medication is this and this, guess what? She was able to change that. So
Yo,
at
if
the end of the day,
mhm,
that is the reason why I still vote. I'm not disagreeing with you that both parties can got, but that we talking about on a whole level, federal level. I'm talking about your local.
at your
Let's
local
do what we
level.
can. Let's do what we can. All
And
right,
if
but I love
voting
you.
wasn't a thing and it wasn't important, why would they be fighting so hard to keep us from voting, to
Woo, that's a
redistrict,
whole nother
to take
conversation.
those rights? You're worried about gun rights, but you know what? Them voting rights, them abortion rights. I don't exercise abortion rights, but I don't want anybody taking it from me. And whether or not you choose to exercise your voting rights, you definitely don't want anybody to take that from you either. So you don't have to run out to the poll, but you best defend what's important to you. Period. So there's that. So Cash said apathy ain't it, cause it ain't.
Well, at the end of the day, I'm gonna go tea for timeout. You guys have a wonderful night. I love having good debates and conversations and just talking to you lovely people. I already know. Look at my son. I gotta get my son out. He said, I'm late, mother. Sorry, I was asleep. It's okay. You go ahead, go on YouTube, you push rewind, you'll hear some good topics. But at
It's
the
all
end of
right
the
if you
day,
was asleep. It's as long as you woke.
yes, as long as you look good. I love you. I love you
Good
guys.
night.
Talk to you guys later and stay safe. Keep your head on the swivel because at the end of the day, if you know the game is not meant for you, then you'll play it correctly. All right.
Mhm.
Bye.